For all you groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you. This is the FANA Fan Podcast, and I'm Topliss, and for all you groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you. If you read my blog of Little Town FC with the Merry Miller, you'd have known that there was a lot of groundhoppers there that day, and one of them is with us tonight. Mick, how are you, mate? Good to have you on.
I'm fine, yeah. Good to be here.
Great to see you the other week at the Groundhop for Steeton and Ilkley Town.
That's right. Keep bumping into each other.
Shame about the Ilkley result, though. 0-0, never a good thing.
Yeah, that's one. I've seen better games there.
Indeed, mate, indeed. So, Mick Docking from Norfolk. What was your background in football? How did you get into football?
Well, it's always been there. My dad used to go to Norwich. My granddad used to go to Norwich. So I ended up going to Norwich. It was 40 mile away, but it was what we did every weekend. So that was it, really. Nothing spectacular.
How long ago was that?
Well, I started going about 68, 69. But I can't remember all the games because I was about 6 or 7 at the time. And unfortunately, my grandfather passed away leaving a match there in the 60s. So it's gone through our whole family, you know, through life and death.
Yeah. What was it like back then? Obviously, everyone knows Norwich City today as a yo-yo club. But what about back then, like the 70s and 80s?
Well, from the 70s, we were always a second division club. The first time we got promoted was in 71, 72. So that was just when I was starting to remember what matches that I was going to. And it was quite fun because I got to quite a few away games that when we got promoted that season, getting to one like Watford, the final game of the season at half time, just to see us draw. Watford get relegated. We couldn't even beat them in the home match. We drew 1-1. You know, we get promoted, they get relegated. We couldn't beat them.
It happens. There's certain teams that it happens to in the end. I mean, you look at Leicester City, the year they won the league. Look how bad Arsenal performed that year, and yet they only seem to do the double over them.
That's right.
So it can happen.
And then you go and play a top team and they beat you, and you beat them, sorry.
Yeah. I can always remember, though, obviously in the Premier League terms, that very first season, back in 92, 93, Norwich were top of the league for a long time, the first division.
Yeah, storming away with it. We were points clear at Christmas, thought we could win it. And then it was just between us, Man U and Villa, and then we faded away, and it was between them two, and then it went back to normal.
Yeah, was it 95? You went back down to the second tier. Was it 1995? The year Blackburn won it, or because I can remember you finished third in that first season, and just like you say, faded away, didn't it? And then
it was the season we lost 7-1 at Blackburn, I think.
Yeah,
if I remember rightly. My memory isn't so good on some of these matches now.
No. What are your best memories with Norwich? Would you say? What if you can? What the ones you can remember? What are your favourites?
Oh, one of them is going up getting promotion at Odsal, Bradford City, when they were playing at the rugby ground. That was a strange and enjoyable day. Going to Wembley with them, obviously, a couple of times. In fact, the last time when we've won the playoffs, we were 2-0 up after 20 minutes. You could enjoy it. You don't enjoy cup finals. You get tense, you get nervous. But
absolutely.
It was nervous because suddenly think, oh, we're going to collapse now. But no, we managed to stay on. But most of the game, it was enjoyable.
I wish I could have that with some of the cup finals I've seen. I've been in bits, me. Absolute bits. I've only ever been Wembley once. It was in the FA Trophy with Mansfield back in 2011. And my word, Darlington we played. They hit the post in the 86th minute from a free kick outside the box. I mean, that minute when they got the free kick warmed up, my heart was pounding out my chest. 92nd minute, crossed into the box, free header. He's headed it wide. And then we conceded in the 120th minute after all to lose 1-0. I mean, cup finals, oh man, they can absolutely kill you. And yeah, I'm going to Wembley this Sunday with Jack for Rotherham in the Papa John's Trophy. So yeah, not helping myself.
Yeah, I've seen us lose with a 1-0 penalty as well. There, in 73 and 75, we lost a couple of cup finals there as well. That was another
It's
defeat
agony.
at Wembley.
It's agony.
Sorry, I only at Wembley.
I've got to ask you this, because obviously in recent times Norwich are, as we say, a yo-yo club. What do you find worse, fighting at the top or battling at the bottom? Which one gets you more irate, should we say?
Well, I don't get angry about much now because I've seen us go down so many times. But it is fun going up, and it's fate. You're resigned to it going. Well, some of us older ones are resigned to going down again.
Yeah,
just like 2 or 3 seasons in the top would be nice,
Yeah,
but it's just a couple of seasons up there, a couple of seasons down. That's now it's up to every other season up and down, which is worse.
Yeah, it's a shame when it happens all the time. I know there's a few clubs, and obviously Norwich, there's West Brom at times have been like that. You've got Rotherham, who are quite normally like that as well. Barnsley, a bit similar. So yeah, it can be very frustrating. But I mean, obviously, you still get the party when you go up, I suppose, don't you?
Yeah. At least we get some silverware every couple of years.
Yeah. Let's talk about groundhopping then. So I understand you've moved out of the Norfolk area now. You're now living in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
How did you get into the non-league game?
Well, it was a sort of stop and start because when I was living in the countryside, I used to go and watch the local team in the angling combination as it is now. And that was Saturday afternoons when we didn't go anywhere. And then there was also, really got into it about 84, late 80s when Emily got to the semi-finals of the FA Bars, went with a mate to a couple of the games and found it was more relaxing than getting tense about the proper match. Well, not proper matches, but professional matches. It was more relaxing, more enjoyable. And so after that, I started, knocked off a few more league grounds and then went on to the non-league grounds, sort of Staley Bridge and the local ones first in the higher leagues. And then you go lower down and further away and you suddenly realised I was doing it more often.
So did it start with Emily AFC?
Yeah.
So
because they had a local team.
They're a most local team, and what a lovely ground it is, I have to say. I went there back in August last year for the FA Cup game against Congleton. Really enjoyable day. Obviously, Emily, back in '98, if you remember, played West Ham. Did you attend that one?
I went to the Bolton match when it was about season before or season after they played Bolton also in the FA Cup. It was played at Huddersfield Town's old Leeds Road. Oh
wow, I didn't know about that one. Go on, do tell how did that one come along? Obviously, everyone knows about the West Ham one.
They lost to Bolton 3-0. It wasn't very memorable.
No,
but they had a few seasons where they were sort of playing above their standards, really.
So I can remember speaking to someone else who was connected with Emily, who did go to the West Ham game.
Yeah,
and he was saying how they were joined together. The Emily fans went and had drinks with the West Ham fans before the game, and it was really friendly. And he also said that literally the whole village went. The whole village. There's about 50 people left in the village, and he said that there was a massive police presence. Like, how about that for a story, though, for a village, isn't it? I mean, I touched on it on the blog a little bit when I wrote it up. But wow, what a story that is for any non-league club at that level.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But so we've got Golker, more local, so that's the second one.
Golker, another lovely club that I saw in the COVID Cup. Very, very enjoyable day out back in May last year.
That's right. It was
But
not
what do you think of
surprising.
Golker's ground?
It's improving. It hasn't got the big slope from side to side anymore. So
Okay.
that's much. Because I don't know if you remember, but there was on one side, it was slightly higher.
Yeah.
That was where the slope used to be.
Bit
Yeah.
like that, weren't it? Yeah. I'm looking
slope.
down.
Unfortunately, we don't have Bradley Rangers anymore around here because they were a big rival of Emily's in the 80s.
Who was that? Sorry.
Bradley Rangers.
So what happened to them?
They just died a death. They were Emily's main rivals in the late 80s, and they're about 2 miles out of town on Leeds Road in Huddersfield.
Did you ever go to any of those games?
Unfortunately not. I had some building work on there, but I never actually went to a match there. So I keep meaning to go back and look because there's a junior team playing there now, but I haven't got round to that's too low for me at the moment. It's too down the ladder at the moment.
So how many grounds have you visited them since you've been groundhopping?
I'm on about 440 something.
Ooh, 440.
Nice round number.
Fair play. And is there any honourable mentions you'd like to give? Do you have a favourite? You can be biased.
Well, this season, Boldmere St Michael in the Midlands.
Yes, I've been there.
Round. And I got shown round by one of the committee as well. He took me upstairs in the room where you can have a look down and see the players coming out.
Oh yeah.
And then I got a show round and a lovely club shop there as well. Great Yarmouth, that's another one.
One on the hit list.
Seen a proper match there. I used to go in the summer. They used to play friendlies against the local team. Used to play the celebrities who are in the summer season. So you used to get a match there every summer, and used to catch quite a few there.
Wow, so it's a Great Yarmouth. You're saying is the best time to go in the summer for pre-season sort of time?
Well, you get the celebrities player match there.
Okay.
Against the team.
Interesting. So obviously there's a lot of history with Great Yarmouth Town's ground. It's one of the Mike Bailey 100, and it's also, I think, is it the stand? Is it one of the oldest stands ever? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've kept a close eye on Great Yarmouth, but the one that I've kept an eye on is one just down the road from Great Yarmouth, and that's Galston.
Oh, right, across the river, yeah.
Yeah, because they're moving.
That's right.
I don't know when they're moving.
No, me neither.
But,
like some moving, they say they're going to move, and you think, well, when? And it's a couple of years later, and you think, still, when are they moving?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get there, obviously, before I get to Great Yarmouth, just for that reason, just because they're moving, just to get it done. So, any other honourable mentions? I mean, Boldmere St Michael's, I don't blame you. It's a lovely ground. I went to see the ladies play, and I was in that bit doing a bit of commentary with Joe that day. So great, Boldmere, fantastic choice. Great. Any more you'd like to add on to
that? Clitheroe, for the people who were there rather than the ground. Well, as much as the ground, but the people have got really good supporters there and have a good chin wag with them. I didn't like your.
Again, but it's another one of those. It's another 100 for Mike Bailey. That's right. It's another one that I know about. It's like, oh, I've still not been. I still get it.
Well, the people there I've met were really good as well. So that it's not just the grounds that get an honourable mention, but also sometimes the fans who are just as important.
Oh, absolutely. The friendly clubs will you'll always remember the friendly clubs more than the best ground clubs in many ways, don't you? Just because of how welcome you were. So we've had the best. What about the worst, if there is any? And again, you can be biased. I don't mind you mentioning any rivals out there.
That's unfair, really, because some of the worst, only because they were still being built at the time and they weren't really finished. I have to say Swallow's Nest.
Okay.
Because when I visited, there weren't no toilet facilities or anything, so they had to go and open the gate and let you go through a side door. Probably much better now, but
yeah,
when they were first season in the Northwest Counties.
Swallow Nest. I have
And
been there as well.
Same with Darlington's Reynolds Arena. You know, the one that White Horse,
the big Darlington Arena.
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
It was half finished when I went there as well, so
yeah,
we don't really. It's not dislike. It's just that I should have waited until it was more finished rather than go when it's still a fresh ground.
No, that's a fair point, mate. But again, why is it? Why did they build it so big? What was he thinking?
I know, because when you go past on the railway line now, you can see it as you go into Darlington. You think, what a waste. I think they use it for rugby or something, but it's still a waste, you know.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And you never know, man. I can remember during the lockdown, COVID with the social distancing, they were going to move back in just so they could socially distance all the fans, which I thought was a good move. And I was straight on the phone, Jack, get over there. And in the end, it didn't happen because of the government scrapped the fans getting back at that time, sadly. So but you never know. There might be a time where in pre-season, Darlington might have a game against Newcastle or Sunderland, and they might play it there so that everyone can go and watch. So you never know. That might be the time. But it does look a nice ground, I thought. Might lack a bit of character, but again, I've not seen it, so I can't judge it.
Well, as I said, I only went when it was half built. Well, not half built, but 3 sides were used. The 4th side was still, you couldn't get round that side. So
yeah,
it wasn't totally complete then.
No, fair play. So we've had best and worst grounds. Let's move on to who are the best fans you've experienced, do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to say Cliver Oak, and I've mentioned their fans before. Also, Sutton Coldfield with their little band.
Absolutely. I absolutely admire that lot. They are absolutely incredible, aren't they?
I know I'm not a fan of bands normally, but they've got it.
You can't hate them. I can remember because I went back in November last year. Every goal kick it was, oh, I mean, it's a terrible shame because Sutton Coldfield went 1-0 down after 2 minutes. And I only gave them 4 out of 10 because I didn't really thought I'd seen the best of them, if you know what I mean. I think that goal might have just killed them off a bit. And they did go on to lose 3-1, but still, I still thought they were fantastic.
Well, I went with one of my East Anglian clubs. I went to watch them with Peterborough Sports. So I try and find an East Anglian club that's playing to give me a little bit of a bias to the away team. But when the band strikes up, you've got to love them, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, I do remember him playing Tequila. Tequila! Ah! Yeah, that was good. Is there any other honourable mentions? You say?
There probably is. But yeah, there are a few more.
Yeah. I'll give you one. So, let's say we go to Carrow Road one day. What do you think I would give Norwich fans out of 10? Do you think?
I haven't been to a home game since must be 20 years now.
Oh wow. I don't know then.
It's about 12, 15 away games a season, but I don't go to home games. There's 22,000 season tickets on a 27,000 ground. So it's not so bad now, but it was impossible to get tickets a few years ago.
Fair
Because
play,
I have
fair
a
play.
membership as well. I'm on the away membership, but not the home membership, which means I'd have to pay another 30, 40 quid just to try and get a game.
No, fair play. I mean, would you say it's a bit difficult to get tickets for then at the moment? For home games, do you think?
It's not as hard as it used to be. You see people putting their tickets up on some of the fan sites saying, well, we've got one for this match. So
Fair
you
play.
can get them, yeah.
Not
But
bad.
it's the way. Yeah, I've got no problem getting away tickets as I go to so many away matches.
No, fair play. So again, we've had the best. What about the worst fans you've come across, do you think?
It's a type of fan rather than a specific team or other. It's those who I see there, and they'll start shouting, "Get your hair cut," and you think, this is 2020. You don't go shouting at people just because they've got long hair anymore. I'm going to grow my hair long. I'm not going to get it cut, even if you suggest it.
And any fan bases that do that, or just as a general feeling?
It's quite often those who have been there for most of the day and had a few more beers than they should have. The normal supports are all right, but I think those who have it out for the day. I've had places like Colchester and Tadcaster, believe it or not.
Okay, interesting. I've been to Colchester. I thought they were quite loud when I went, even though the stadium looked half empty. I thought they did okay, but I mean, Tadcaster I've not been to yet. We're not had them mentioned on the podcast before.
Well, I went in the co-main with Colchester as well, and I still got abuse.
Oh dear. Does happen. I think every fan base does it these days. Well,
Yeah.
not just haircuts, with like,
Different.
overweight people.
Yeah.
So 440 odd grounds. Is there any grounds in the world you would like to visit that you haven't already? Any that are top of your hit list?
Iodine Park. Where?
Who plays at that one? I've heard that ground. Who's plays it? Is it a Scottish one?
It's near Carnforth, up in the Lake District. Millhead to the team.
Millhead, that's the one. Or close.
We'll be getting there soon.
You'll have to let me know when that time comes. You can need a taxi.
When I was coming back from Scotland, I was chatting to someone who was who when I said I was a groundhopper, he said, I've played at a ground. I wonder if you've heard of it. He said, Iodine Park. And I said, oh yeah, everyone wants to go there. And he was amazed that someone who's not from the region had heard of it.
Yeah. I think all those groundhoppers have heard it, haven't we, really? What is it about Millhead that really takes your fancy?
It's the fact there's a great big cliff behind one of the goals where if they don't stop running, they run straight into it. I think. Well, I'm a fan of any grounds that are in a quarry type situation, like Druids. That's a nice one in Wales. That's a nice one. That's in a sort of quarry area.
Which one was it? What are they called? It's called the Rock, isn't it? Who plays there?
Yeah. Kefin Druids.
Kefin Druids, that's the one. Yeah. What about the Stanks? Is that another one?
On my list to visit one day as well. I've seen many a picture of it. I know you. Did you go up there last season?
It was Jack, not me. I'm going this season.
Yeah, it's one I want to go to. I've obviously been to Berwick's. Well,
Rangers.
They're not in the league now, are they? They're non-league now, so I've been there.
Yeah. So, well, before I move on to the next question, just to give you a heads up, this season for the Stanks, It's their 100th year doing that tournament.
That's right. I see they've got Berwick Rangers putting a side together for it as well. If I see right. A representative side, I think it's more called.
No, yeah. That sounds fantastic. But yeah, I'll definitely be looking to get up there this year for that. Be iconic for someone like me to write about that. But how would, let's say, you know, somebody who was looking at non-league football, how would you sum it up to them, do you think? How would you make them want to start going?
Well, I'd say if sorry, how can I put? I did have this sorted out in my head. If you enjoy football oh, sorry, I'm losing it here.
Sorry, mate, don't worry.
Sorry, I have the frame hasn't frozen.
Yeah, still thinking.
Sorry, can we come back to this? I've lost it on that one.
Yep, that's fine, mate. No problem. You'll finish on the final question. If you could sum up groundhopping in 3 words, what would it be? So it could be 3 separate words or a 3-word phrase. What would you give it?
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
Relaxing. Well, I find it relaxing because I'm not cheering a certain team, and friendly because of most of the fans you meet there are knowledgeable, and they'll tell you anything about the team. They'll tell you, oh, this is the widest street, this is the longest lane. I think, well, I wouldn't have known that, and I have no reason to know that, but they'll tell you anything about the club's history and all sorts. They'll tell you everything.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Yeah. Mick, I've really enjoyed having you on, mate. I hope you have as well. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, I'll hopefully see you again soon at a ground. Maybe the Stanks. Maybe who knows?
Yeah. Sorry about the freeze, everyone.
Oh, don't worry, you're fine. It happens. Okay, this has been the FANA Fan Podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you.